Welcome to the Unused and Cut Video Game Content Iceberg. Tier 1. Mob Contest Mobs Minecraft. Up until recently, every year Mojang would hold a mob vote for Minecraft, where they would show off normally 3 different creatures that could get added alongside new items and biomes. And it was controversial to say the least, and I say was because this year they announced that they're not going to be doing it anymore for the foreseeable future. And the whole controversial part is that yeah, a lot of them got scrapped. Sure, it was nice getting to pick a mob being added to the game, but a lot were scrapped. So these are all the mobs that were put up to a vote, and yes, some of them are very old. It was a 1.14 vote, very old. But out of all of these, only these got into the game. Yeah, it was really bad. Nintendo Giga leak. So one of the biggest leaks in recent memory for gaming was the Nintendo Giga leak in 2020. There was a lot of different demos for games that weren't available before that got out, but the biggest thing by far is Luigi in Super Mario 64, L being real. Yeah, if you've ever even heard of Mario 64, you've probably heard of L is real. It's a sort of urban legend to where you could get Luigi in Mario 64, and in the final release of the game, he wasn't there. But because of this leak, we found out that he was originally actually intended to be in the game. We have a model for Luigi who would have been in Super Mario 64. Giant Minecraft. This is the giant. And yeah, he looks like a normal zombie, but when you look at the size of him in game, yeah, it's massive. This guy, originally at one point, ended up looking like Steve. It was quickly changed back to the zombie model, but for whatever reason, it isn't marked as an undead enemy, despite looking like a zombie whenever you spawn it in. But that means it doesn't burn in sunlight at all. The giant is still available to spawn in the game, but you do have to use commands and it doesn't really work too well. No one knows if there was going to be bigger plans for this mob or what, but despite it being cut out, there's still enough stuff in the files to have it at least spawn in. Killer Bunny Minecraft. When the bunny mobs were being developed, at one point they decided on making a killer bunny. And it got cut, but you can still spawn it with commands. This bunny would be white and have red eyes and be very powerful, dealing 8 damage or 4 hearts every time it attacked you. It's based on the killer rabbit of Kerbanog from Monty Python. It's unclear why Mojang decided to get rid of this bunny, but with everything I see online, it's just people wanting it back, and yeah, I agree. It'd be hilarious to have back in the game. Hidden Palace Zone Sonic 2. Sonic 2 was originally going to have a level called the Hidden Palace Zone, but it ended up getting cut prior to launch. A corrupted version of the level still exists in Sonic 2, but yeah, it doesn't exactly work correctly. When Sonic 2 was put onto mobile though, this was added back. Not just the corrupted state either, it was just an entire extra level. Hot Coffee GTA San Andreas. GTA San Andreas has a lot of different minigames, like cards, slot machines, basketball, I mean the list goes on. But one minigame that was cut, or at least partially cut, was called Hot Coffee. So this minigame was partially cut and for a good reason, but the modders found out that if you put in a cheat code, you could re-enable it, and yeah, this isn't a normal minigame. Also yes, I know I'm an amazing artist with making this safe for work. But yeah, it wasn't intended to even be accessible through a cheat code, and this led to a lot of legal trouble with Rockstar. Mr. Dream replaces Mike Tyson Punch-Out. When making Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Nintendo paid Tyson $50,000 to use his name and likeness in the game. But for whatever reason, it was only for a 3-year period, meaning that any releases of the game after this period were now just called Punch-Out, and Mike Tyson had to be replaced, since he was the last fighter in the game. He ended up getting replaced with Mr. Dream, who has the same moveset, but, well, isn't Mike Tyson. Tier 2. Wheatley Crab. An animation from the beta test of Portal 2 has the robotic character Wheatley, a sentient robotic orb in the original game, growing legs and morphing into a crab-like shape. After being discovered in 2020, the animation inspired a lot of memes and this masterpiece. Robo Squidward Battle for Bikini Bottom. This is Robo Squidward in Battle for Bikini Bottom, and it's somewhat cut. When people saw this boss in the Game Boy Advance version of the game, they begged to have him in the normal version, the 3D one for the PS2 and Xbox. But this guy wasn't going to be added. I mean, it was very old, it's not like they could just update the game. That is until 2020, when Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated came out, a remake of the original 2003 version of the game. And this boss was finally given the full 3D modern treatment, Motos Super Mario 64. This is the Motos, a cut enemy from Mario 64. It was most likely going to replace the bully enemies and was fully implemented in the beta of the game. They were found alongside Luigi in the massive 2020 Nintendo Giga leak, and in a lot of ways I prefer their design compared to the normal bully enemies we got in the final release. Walking Turret Portal. Valve had set up a lot of ARGs, or alternate reality games, where if people solved them, they could see things like concept art for cut enemies, one of which was the walking turret. We don't know a whole lot about this enemy aside from it being a turret that can move, unlike all the other ones, but in the concept art it also shows it going through a blue portal, so this enemy could have possibly followed you through your own portals. That would have been terrifying. Sky Dimension Minecraft. Welcome to the Sky Dimension. Yeah, this is an actual screenshot from vanilla Minecraft tweeted out by Notch. Notch made the Nether Dimension in Minecraft to be an equivalent of hell, you know, being filled with lava and everything just terrible and creepy, and he wanted to have the opposite of that as well. That's where this idea for the Sky Dimension came from, being a heaven-like place, but there was some issues with it. The Sky Dimension wasn't completely confirmed by Notch until he released an update on Twitter saying, "And because PC Gamer made such a big deal of the Sky Dimension, I guess I'll have to finish it. Consider it confirmed." Okay, sick, so we're getting this right. I mean, it's a massive deal on the internet and people have wanted something like this for a while. Well, the ideas and functions of this dimension changed. It got swapped to being a dimension only accessible through dreams, by sleeping through a bed, and a whole bunch of weird changes came in. But there was some issues with lighting that didn't work out. The Sky Dimension was originally planned for the Adventure update, but Notch put it on hold until after the Nether was, quote, more fun. Jeb, another massive Minecraft developer and one of the originals, described that because of the lighting being top-down like the overworld, you would get shadows in caves and such, but performance with this lighting wouldn't really work for whatever reason. It was extremely slow, and since that didn't work, they saw what it was going to be like without lighting, where you need to light everything up with a torch, and, well, at this point it wasn't so heavenly. This dimension was rebranded to The End, since originally it was going to be the last dimension anyways, and they can make it creepy with no lighting and everything for the end of the game. Notch tweeted much later that a different Skylands dimension was being made, but this dimension was cut as well. Playable Alucard and Decidueye's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Smash Bros. Ultimate has a lot of characters, and they're all crossover characters from different IPs of games. And with how many are in the game now, 89, you can imagine a lot were cut. We had amazing characters like that guy from ARMS and Rex from Xenoblade, but the two biggest ones by far were Decidueye from Pokemon and Alucard from Castlevania. You'd think with Incineroar being in the same game as Decidueye and Simon and Richter Belmont from Castlevania already being added that these characters would be in the game too, but no. Completely cut, and it doesn't look like we'll be getting them. Unused Classes Team Fortress 2. The main thing Team Fortress 2 players have wanted for years now is a new class. And there were plans for some, but they never made it in. Firstly, there was plans for a civilian class that would have been a game mode specific class, like how you play as Saxton Hale in one game mode. Second was going to be a possible commander class, where you could control things from above, almost like an RTS game or that weird mode in Battlefield. And lastly, as a scrapped sort of class, is girls? Women? Yeah, there was going to be female versions of all of the classes, but they all got scrapped, never added. And sure, it's not technically a new class, but it does heavily relate to it. Arwing Ocarina of Time. This is Link, fighting a ship from Star Fox with fully functional AI in the original Ocarina of Time. Yeah, for some reason, an Arwing is just in the files of Ocarina of Time, unused. You can spawn it in with a GameShark code, and no one knew why it was in the game until 2011, when someone who worked on the game said it was simply a placeholder. It's one pretty insane placeholder, and kind of crazy that it's completely functional. Animatronics staring at the camera, Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm gonna really mess with your head here because you've never seen this image. Or at least not in FNAF. Yeah, this wasn't in the game, and I know people are going to insist in the comments that it was, but no, it's an insane Mandela Effect. What you've likely seen is this image of Freddy staring at the camera, but the full image of all of them looking at the camera never actually appeared in the game, just in the files. It's an insane Mandela Effect that I'd never even heard of, but yeah, this got cut from the game. Tier 3, Gears Minecraft. Gears were originally going to be in Minecraft, but they were scrapped very early on. As you can imagine, they would have had some connection to Redstone, but were hardly implemented at all. They didn't even appear on a block unless you placed it on a block that horizontally attached to another one. If it was a single, it wouldn't even appear. That is, unless it was a source block like water or lava. I can see why this didn't make it into the final game. It doesn't feel very vanilla Minecraft. It's not a block, it's a weird animated texture. Just very odd that it was even presented to be in the game at some point. Additional subjects, Baldi's Basics. Baldi's Basics is a pretty well-known indie horror game and pretty iconic for multiple reasons, but the main gameplay loop is very simple. Collect a notebook, do math problem you can't solve, repeat until you can get out and survive. But originally it wasn't just gonna be math. There was gonna be science, spelling, geology, English, history, geography, and math. They would have all had their own unique notebook colors as well. Latican, Pokemon Ruby, and Sapphire. Kind of an insane development for this one. Years and years ago, people had come across an image of Blaziken and Latias sort of merged into one Pokemon, and a lot of people thought it was fake until the month I'm writing this, October 2024. This month there was a massive Pokemon Terra leak, people have coined it, and well, yeah, that's a sprite for the Latias and Blaziken as the same Pokemon. So it's official, this old art is actually real, and this was intended to be a thing at some point. Some people believe there would have been some scrapped merging mechanic, but it was probably just a weird design thing where they looked too similar or something along the lines of that. It obviously never made its way into the full game. River Monster Red Dead Redemption 2. There's some lines of code that still exist in the files of Red Dead 2 that hint to a river monster creature. For Rockstar Games and especially Red Dead 2, this type of creature making an appearance wouldn't be too surprising, but unfortunately it never made it. There's still some audio files for its sounds, but yeah, no model or anything. Early character designs, Ace Attorney. The original concept art for Ace Attorney looked a lot different from the final release. I really like both styles, but the original concept art is a lot more stereotype anime, and the final versions did look quite a bit better. It's a similar thing to how Castlevania, Aria, and Dawn of Sorrow did their art styles. Like, sure, the anime style is still good, but it's a completely different feel. Tier 4. ELH.SPZ Luigis Mansion. This is L, a cut enemy from Luigi's Mansion. According to the game files, ELH.SPZ was made 1 month after E3 and it has 6 different animations. And that's literally all we know about it. Some people believe it could have been an early version of the Bogmire enemy, but there's no for sure answer and the devs have never really mentioned him, but we can view some of the animations in-game. Mr. Friendly, Half-Life. This is Mr. Friendly, a cut enemy from the original Half-Life. Mr. Friendly was gonna be a crawling creature that walked on hoofed legs on its back and spurs in front, moving in a very awkward, shuffling manner, making a noise resembling fingers on a chalkboard. It would act as a scavenger that ate all the corpses of the dead enemies. This behavior would be an explanation to the disappearance of bodies that would happen to improve performance of the game. So even though Mr. Friendly wasn't too friendly looking, he improved performance. Lives FNAF. This is Lives, an unused character in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. He appeared in the original 3 FNAF games as an asset in the files, but was never implemented. He would have acted as a character that would give you lives to survive some jump scares. But if you don't get jump scared at the very start of the night, you would get jump scared by lives. A very unique mechanic that would have been really cool to see in maybe a secret mode, but he hasn't even been in the files of any game since FNAF 3. Really odd considering Ultimate Custom Night is a thing. He would have fit perfectly into that. Human Mobs Minecraft. Minecraft originally had human NPCs. Even back then it was weird because they didn't really match the style of the game. The most iconic of them that I've been able to find is one called Rana. Rana was created by Doc for a project of his own years ago. When he joined the Minecraft development team, he recreated her in a new style for the game, along with 3 other human NPCs called Steve, Black Steve, and Beast Boy? Wait, what? Yeah, no, that's just copyright infringement. All 4 of them were pulled from Minecraft at the same time when Doc left the project, and yeah, I don't think many people really miss them. They were really weird. And speaking of old Minecraft, Brick Pyramid Minecraft. Brick pyramids are structures that would spawn in the earliest versions of Minecraft called Infidev. These pyramids were absolutely massive. They were filled with 344,000 brick blocks, which was about 5,200 stacks of brick blocks, though the number was different based on how it generated. When these pyramids were added, bricks weren't available to be obtained naturally, so this was the only way of getting the blocks. Despite a lot of people believing this was their reason for adding it, no, it was just added to look really cool. Shortly after, bricks were added to be obtained naturally, and this generation of a brick pyramid would be removed. E3 Knuckles voice Sonic Adventure. In the E3 1999 demo of Sonic Adventure, Knuckles had a very different voice. This was the same voice actor, but they re-recorded nearly all of his lines before release. The E3 demo was recovered so we could get the voice lines back in the game, and if you take a quick listen here...
Oh no, it's starting to happen. Without the Master Emerald's power...
Yeah, that's where the oh no sound effect came from. And that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot, all the support you've been leaving on the videos, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, week, month, and I'll see you in the next one.